The episode starts with an introduction to the online game Arc Earth Online. Different from all other games in which players can own kingdoms and wage wars against other players' kingdoms, creating an age of strife, where the warriors have the biggest roles and mages are bleak. However, there's a kingdom of Alkate, ruled by Solomon, where mages who have nowhere to go found salvation. Among them, some are exceptional and have mastered the 9 different types of magic, the 9 wise men. Dunbalf, also known as the one-man army, is the one that Solomon trusts the most. Solomon calls Dunbalf and requests him to defeat 10,000 monsters who are attacking the kingdom. After the request, Dunbalf and Solomon are chilling together, commenting it was a good fancy roleplay and that Dunbalf even took a screenshot. The two later plan their strategy on tackling the attack, and think if there's a new magic force discovered. Dunbalf then meets Anamate, who informs him that Sol Hao has gone to defend the border to the south. Dunbalf goes to the battlefield, where the monsters are gathered. Using his flying island, Dunbalf faces the monsters. He then summons his army, 1,000 Dark Knights and 7 Valkyries, and engages them in battle. With the help of Kate Sif, he finds the main monster. Dunbalf then himself faces the monster and easily defeats it. Seeing that, the rest of the monsters attempt to escape, but Dunbalf summons Eisenwald and obliterate the escaping monsters. Returning to the kingdom, Solomon praises Dunbalf for defeating the monsters. However, several days later, Dunbalf disappears along with other wise men, causing the biggest crisis in the kingdom of Alkate. A girl wakes up in a field. Eventually, she finds her way to a town. She enjoys some food and walking around the streets. She ends up seeing her reflection and finds herself cute. Episode 2. The girl turns out to be Dunbalf and explains to Solomon he had been experimenting with changing his appearance with a vanity case, but fell asleep before deleting the changes. Solomon laughs and explains it's been 30 years and the game underwent a massive reality update. Luminaria then enters the room, and hearing that the girl is Dunbalf, she gets excited at how cute she looked. At dinner, Solomon tells Dunbalf about the changes. The biggest change they have is that the NPCs are now alive and have feelings. Solomon decides they keep the return of Dunbalf a secret. Returning home, Marianne rushes to Dunbalf and hugs her, but seeing a girl, Marianne wonders who she is. Dunbalf states that he is Dunbalf's pupil, Mira. She explains that Dunbalf will be gone for a while as he is busy raising a new summoning spirit. Solomon calls Mira to speak with his advisors and military leaders. They report that 2 groups of monsters are heading towards the kingdom. Luminaria heads out to deal with the first group of 800, and there is a second group with 200 monsters, led by a lesser demon. Solomon tasks Mira to defeat the monsters. Solomon sends some advisors with Mira. They head out with an armored jeep. They are notified that the monsters are heading to the same spot. The monsters arrive and they start the fight. Mira notices that the lesser demon has a crystal. Using the crystal, the demon summons a cockatrice, the eyes of which can turn anyone to stone. Mira summons a Dark Knight, who immediately cuts the cockatrice's eyes and then slashes it into 2. The lesser demon, Grudge Mist, then enters the cockatrice, making it more powerful. Mira sees a demon crystal and uses Elemental Shift on Dark Knight, turning him to a dark beast. The dark beast manages to cut off one of the cockatrice's wings and then shoots a powerful blast, but misses. Mira then summons multiple Dark Knights and defeats the cockatrice. Reporting to Solomon, the advisors accept Mira as Dunbalf's pupil. Episode 3. Solomon explains to Mira that when you start the game, you join one of the 3 kingdoms, who can't be destroyed normally. One day, a war broke out between humans and demons. Humans won and signed a peace pact for 10 years. However, it comes to an end in a year. Solomon then tasks Mira to find the 9 wise men, as needed to protect the kingdom. Mira suggests Nebula Polis. Solomon agrees with Mira that Sol Hao may be there. After getting her license, Mira runs into a boy called Tact, who asks Mira to take him to Nebula Polis, as he wants to speak with his parents in the mirror. Mira agrees. The 2 adventurers, Emela and Zev, decide to join them and bring more members of the Ecarlet Carillon Guild, Asval and Flicker. In Nebula Polis, stepping into the catacombs, Mira summons an armored spirit to protect Tact. Immediately after that, ghouls attack them, but the adventurers manage to defeat them. Recalling they will meet more monsters and even giant ghouls, Mira summons one of her Valkyries, Alfina, and orders her to clear all the monsters up to the 5th level. Alfina goes and easily defeats all the monsters. They reach the Mirror of Darkness. Tak goes and calls for his father, Ashley, and mother, Lean, but nothing appears. Zev then steps up and calls Lyrica. The mirror then shines and a girl appears. Zev recalls his younger sister, Lyrica, who was sick. He started adventuring in order to be able to pay for her medicine, but she ended up dying before he was able to come back. Zev apologizes for being unable to save her, but Lyrica tells him it wasn't his fault, and thanks him for working so hard for her. Mira then realizes that the NPCs are something more than before, and have their own lives now. Earlier, Solomon asked Mira to speak with an NPC demonologist, Howard, and see if she can get some info on the lesser demon from a few days ago. Mira takes out some holy water that Howard loved, and spreads it around, calling Howard. Episode 4. Mira asks the adventurers if she can take Tak back with them, as there is something she must do on the 6th level. The adventurers decide to go with Mira. They reach the castle. Mira activates a hidden door and tells the adventurers to wait there until she is done with the secret errand. Mira then heads towards the top floor, where she locates a small life sign. Entering the throne room, she sees many maidens, who appear to be already dead. She realizes the woman on it is barely alive. She finds a wardrobe and decides to change clothes, but the clothes are too big for her. As she looks at some documents, she finds information about the Holy Grail of Heavenly Light, capable of healing any wound, and can even cure death. Mira then runs back to the woman and sees she has a demon's blessing on her back. Mira realizes that Soul Ha wanted to break the curse and stop time with necromancy to buy time until he finds the Holy Grail. Mira then returns to the adventurers, and finds Imera and Fricka scared as they find another room full of dead maids. Exiting the castle, a demon appears. Mira then summons a Dark Knight who blocks the demon's attack. The demon introduces himself as Wolf Bane, Soul Taker of Valnaris. Mira introduces herself as a summoner. Wolf Bane then attacks the Dark Knight and pushes him to the side. He then attacks Mira, but Mira dodges and uses immortal arts to push the demon away. The demon keeps attacking her. She activates Immortal Hidden Arts True Sight and starts beating the demon. However, the demon is able to take it on. Mira then activates Forbidden Immortal Arts Unsealed Demon Eye, causing her right eye to shine and paralyze the demon. The Dark Knight then comes back and kills the demon. The adventurers wonder how a rank C adventurer can be that strong. Having no choice, Mira explains that she is the pupil of the wise man, Dunbauf. Returning to town, they see the town is being attacked by monsters. Episode 5. Mira comments they are golem-like zombies, made of soil and vegetation. Mira sees Garrett and wakes him up. Garrett explains that the zombies came in the afternoon, and soon after that, beast-shaped zombies also appeared. Mira then tells Tak to stay with Imera and heads out. Mira summons all the 7 Valkyries and asks them to clear the zombies in town. The Valkyries then start killing the zombies. Alfina returns to Mira and tells her to look at the sky, where she can see a dead half-demon. With Mira's approval, Alfina calls her sister, and combining their powers, Alfina strikes the unnatural mana and squashes it, along with the half-demon. Mira and the adventurers then celebrate. The captain of Icarlet Carrion, Sero, appears and thanks Mira for helping out the adventurers of his guild. Before leaving, Sero asks Mira to meet him for lunch tomorrow. The next day, Mira takes Tak to check his aptitude for mage. The results are positive, and he has above average results. Mira then buys herself new clothing that looks like her Dunbauf robe. She then heads for lunch with Sero. Mira asks Sero about him. Sero explains that he came 10 days after the first day and found himself saving a widow with a baby from goblins. He felt everything was real. As he was injured, he went to buy medicine, but there was no one that could make it. He taught the widow how to make medicine, helped defeat the remaining goblins, taught the townspeople how to defend themselves, taught them minimal business and negotiation skills, and after that, left the village. He reunited with some of his friends and later started his own guild. He wishes to help all of the people, but sometimes isn't able, and asks Mira if she would join his guild. Mira explains that she is quite busy and won't be able to. Later, Mira heads back to the kingdom. Episode 6. Mira reports her previous quest to Solomon. Mira gives Solomon the research left by Solhao, found during the investigation. Later, a bunch of maids is summoned by Solomon, and Mira gets a dress-up session. Mira then tells Solomon about the incident from the previous quest, with the special demon, zombies, and the guild encounter. Considering the information, Mira and Solomon feel that there is an unusual connection. Mira again gets a dress-up session. Mira then speaks about the incident where spirits are attacked and was helped by a Shikigami named Nyanmaru. Solomon and Mira realize one of the 9 wise men might be involved, and there's an armed group called Chimera Clausen that are after spirits. Afterwards, the research of Soul How mentions the materials needed for the ritual, but did not specify the location. Solomon and Mira feel that more information would be available in the library of someone who collected research over a lifetime. They get into the library. A unique element that glows is required. Later, Garrett and 2 henchmen go to collect the item, but face a legendary beast as they head back. A girl appears and takes out the beast with different immortal art skills. As Garrett gets back with the element, he states about the incident at the mine. Solomon, Mira, and Luminaria realize the girl who fought the legendary beast is Mei Lin. With a bit of fussing around on who will deal with Mei Lin, Mira prepares to visit the library. Episode 7. Mira is trying to figure out a way to enter the Fool, the Wunderkammer archive, with the archive's entrance under the Alcate Academy. Mira encounters Hinata, an evocation magic teacher. Hinata is stunned after finding Mira is a summoning mage. Mira finds out that the evocation department is hanging by a thread, with no one interested in such magic. Regardless, Hinata believes Kleos, the acting elder of the Tower of Evocation, will improve the department. Afterwards, Mira finds out from Hinata that the monthly Mage Arts Review is taking place to evaluate each department in the academy. Considering evocation magic is placed last for some time, with no new ways to impress judges, Mira volunteers to represent the department. Suddenly, Karis of the sorcery department shows up, teasing Hinata and the lousy evocation department. With the Mage Arts Review underway, Karis shows up his skills for his department, which doesn't impress Mira. As other departments portray their skills, the turn for the evocation department arrives. Mira astonishes the arena by being a new representative and starts her summoning chant. She summons Zatisha with evocation. Mira orders Zatisha to sing a refreshing soul song that soothes the crowds before demonstrating a voice magic attack. With everyone impressed, Karis puts up a case where Mira uses tricks since a child cannot use advanced magic. The primary judge considering the case tells Mira and Karis to settle with a duel. Sadly, Karis is no match for Mira. Kleos, watching the duel, feels something off with Mira, and later asks her to fight with him. Kleos realizes Mira is Dunbath in the duel, and welcomes him with respect. With Kleos' doubts cleared, he realizes Mira wants to visit the Wunderkammer for research. After making arrangements for Mira to enter the archives without issues, Kleos, Hinata, and Mira enter the Wunderkammer archives. Episode 8. Since the archives function as a dungeon, the trio comes across a cluster of monsters. Hinata uses this chance and requests the mages to check her evocation magic. With the request accepted, Hinata summons a salamander and defeats the monsters. Mira and Kleos find Hinata's magic skills appealing, but it could get better with defense. Further into the archive, they spot more monsters residing. Mira tells Kleos to use his salamander for Hinata to learn. Kleos summons a mightier salamander, which Hinata finds amazing. After making it to the final section, Mira uses a glowstone to open a new archive layer. Before the trio could finally enter, they come across a stone tablet with an ancient text. Mira summons Pam, a rainbow spirit, to decipher the text, which opens a hidden section. As the trio finds the contents Mira is looking for, they use the copy sheets to copy the required details. Pam brings a book to Mira, which startles Mira because taking books away from the section would trigger an attack from monsters. Luckily, the book activated a spell making it return to its place, while the group made a run from the monsters. Back in the Alcate Palace, Mira tells Solomon about the events of finding the details of Soul How's ritual. Solomon realizes Kleos found out Mira's true identity. He then tells Mira if hiding the truth from Mariana is bothering her, she should reveal everything about Dunbath. Mira decides to reveal the truth to Mariana. Mira summons Eisenwald, who is happy to see his master. She then travels back to her house on the dragons to face Mariana. Meeting Mariana, Mira finds it hard to tell her that she is Dunbath. After hesitating and misreading the situation, Mira tells Mariana that she is Dunbath. Mariana is not sure about the reveal and asks for proof. Mira states the best proof is renewing the fairy's grace. As Mira and Mariana renew the grace, Mariana is overwhelmed that Dunbath is back. With emotion shared, Mira and Mariana share moments before the next guest. Episode 9. Mira gets 2 new quests from Solomon connected to Soul How. The main quest is to investigate the Child of Prayer Forest, while the side quest is to check the Labyrinth of Primal Forest. Since Soul How is after the Holy Grail of Heavenly Light, he will need scared roots from the Child of Prayer Forest. So Mira makes her way to the forest to find out the whereabouts of Soul How. On her way, she spots a fort with people fixing some damages. Visiting the area, she finds out the people are being attacked by monsters regularly, making it hard to defend, as many have been injured already. After revealing she is an adventurer, Ratri shows Mira the injured and says his friend Melissa is badly wounded, with their potions having no effect. Mira, examining Melissa, finds out she is affected by a poison that prevents healing. Summoning Asclepius, a sacred white snake, Mira orders the snake to take care of Melissa's injuries. Melissa recovers after the snake bites her once. After inquiring with Ratri, Mira plans to scout out the monsters in the forest. The idea is supported by the people who want to help Mira in her plans. Later, as the party searches the forest, they get into position as Mira lures the tired leader to slay. With the tyrants led to the trap, everyone attacks the monster and defeats it with Mira's help. The fort people are thankful since Mira saved them from their monster issue. Leaving the fort, Mira makes it to the spot of her main quest. Meeting the elder and his follower of the ancient tree, Mira finds that Soul How visited, but left to seek other materials. Later, Mira inquires about the odd changes with unknown monsters appearing in the forest. A follower of the elder says that the actual reason is unknown, but he senses something odd from the east of their location. Getting intel on Soul How and a mystery of the forest, Mira proceeds to finish her quest. Episode 10. As she arrives at the waterfall in the forest, she notices different animals surrounding Pegasus. Later, as Pegasus is dismissed, the animals follow Mira. Mira then summons a Catsif to translate that it will be dangerous to follow her. Catsif accompanies Mira on her quest, and finds an unexplored area. Getting down to business, Mira starts looking for a rare berry, called progenitors. Mira and Cat have fun running around trying to collect 10 berries. Even though they meet some forest monsters, Mira manages to defeat them. After they finish getting what they came for, they return to the exit. Before reaching the exit though, the two come across a talking flower that guides them to the exit point. After making it out through the waterfall, Mira and Cat dry themselves. Mira then senses a presence near them and calls out to whoever is hiding. The man reveals himself and says he mistook Mira for a beautiful spirit. Explaining further, he says that he got after an irate spirit chased him around. He then says that he is heading back to his village after collecting herbs and fruits. Later, suspicious of the man, Mira uses her sensory powers and finds that the man is heading in a different direction. Following the man, Mira finds him hunting a spirit. While he almost tries to catch the spirit, a member of the Isuzu League intercepts him. Realizing the assailant is from the Chimera Clawson, Blue gets into a fight to capture the man for questioning. As the assailant gets the upper hand and tries to finish Blue, Mira intervenes in their battle. The assailant tries to outsmart Mira, but she defeats the man easily since Mira is a wise man. After apprehending the assailant, Mira gets acquainted with Blue and White from the Isuzu League, who opposes Chimera Clawson's actions. Since Blue and White state they'll take the assailant to their base, Mira requests to visit their quarters. With things settled, Mira wonders what more she'll learn from the unexpected encounter. Episode 11. On her way back to Alcate, Mira finds a caravan site and decides to take a break. She meets Cyril, Emilia, and Flicker from the guild at the site. Cyril then updates on their adventures. Mira mentions the issue about Chimera Clawson when she finds the group is heading towards the west. Zeph enters, saying monsters attack a unit of the caravan. Later, the caravan chief explains that Nolan of Unit 8 was caught in the robbery by the monsters. Mira and the group then find Nolan in trouble, but Mira defeats the monsters trying to attack him. Nolan states that the cargo is taken further into the woods by the creatures. As the group ventures into the woods, they realize that they're looping on the same location. Mira then summons 2 Korpuckers. The Korpuckers reveal that they don't sense any spirit around. This intel makes Mira realize what White said about the disturbances of mana due to the absence of the spirit to be true. The group decides to sort the issue and find where the cargo is kept. Mira and the group encounter a pack of lions, led by legendary beasts, Silver Lion and Golden Lion. However, Mira and Cyril easily take out the beast, while the others take on the small fry. Later, while checking the cargo, Mira finds a stone tablet with similar patterns to Demon's Blessing. As she touches the tablet, Mira gets phased into a different reality, where she talks to a man who says it is a different era. She then finds out she was caught in a distortion of space-time, where only her soul traveled into the past. The man gives some hints of a great distortion that will happen. As Mira starts to phase back, she finds out that the man and his species are devils. They are moving to the reincarnation gate to become angels. Mira realizes that the gate is familiar before returning to the present. Later, Mira safely returns the cargo to the caravan. However, heading back to Alkate, she finds trouble across the distance. Reaching the town, she meets Garrett, who explains a horde of monsters are approaching the kingdom. Mira then prepares to clear off some monsters before heading to Solomon. Episode 12. The monster's attack has already begun before Mira can get back to Alkate. Solomon gets a background report of the monster army showing up due to the mana distortion. Solomon tells Suleiman to get everyone to the battlefront, since the Knights of the Guards are already at the defense fort. Recalling a similar attack 30 years back, Solomon knows they lack all the 9 wise men to reassure victory this time. He then sends Luminaria to the battle to get the upper hand. As Luminaria reaches the battlefield, she takes out many monsters with her powers. However, more mana distortion brings in more monsters. As things get worse, 2 mysterious heroes, Cleos and Aramate, show up to help in the fight. Later, Mira reaches the battle, and this uplifts everyone's spirits. With Mira in the battle, the annihilation of the monsters is complete. Solomon then prepares to meet Luminaria and Mira at Alkate Palace. As the heroes meet, a mana catastrophe happens, bringing out a gigantic dragon. Mira realizes it's a raid boss, and prepares to fight with Solomon and Luminaria. Luminaria says they can use Operation Mateo to take out the dragon. On board with the plan, Mira summons different warriors to stall so Luminaria can prepare her special attack. Solomon, Mira, and the warriors attack the dragon to make sure they keep it distracted. With Luminaria's attack ready, Mira uses Time Freeze on the dragon to get a direct hit. Even though Luminaria's powerful attack makes direct contact, the dragon stands strong. However, Mira and Solomon are determined to defeat the dragon. Solomon gets a few openings and cuts some parts of the dragon. Mira summons Eisenwald and makes it counter the dragon's blast. The dragon gets defeated with Eisenwald's final blast. Afterwards, Mira decides not to join the wise men as Dunbao's pupil, since people might not consider her a worthy hero. Mira knows there's more to solve than fighting the rest of the 9 wise men, with the kingdom now safe. The end.